What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Phil, and welcome back to another video. So again, it's been a very busy few weeks since I last posted a video. So anyways, now that I'm back, so I am going to review another game for us today, and that would be Gundam SEED Battle Destiny for the Nintendo Switch. So apparently this is a port of the same game that was originally released for the PlayStation Vita. And having played this, I am going to compare it to another Gundam Seed game that I have actually played many years ago, which was Federation versus Zaft, or Rengo versus Zaft. So to be specific, I'm going to talk about the PSP version, and apparently there was a PlayStation 2 version of that game. But for some reason, so I'm gonna sidetrack a little bit and talk about Dingle versus Zaft. So maybe given the limitations of like the PSP's UMD, uh, so maybe a smaller disc meant like a smaller memory space, and because of that, so apparently a lot of mobile suits that were included in the PS2 version were cut for the PSP version. For example, like they had suits from Gundam SEED Destiny, like the Impulse Gundam, and like some Zaku suits, like the Zaku Warrior, Zaku Phantom, and whatnot. But apparently, in the PS2 version, they have mobile suits like the Destiny, Providence, and even suits from like Stargazer, like the Strike Noir. So there were mobile suits included in the PS2 version. But again, I am going to compare this game to the PSP version that I have very much played back in the day. So again, this is a this is a Nintendo Switch version. So this came out on May 22nd, 2025. So I've had this game for about a couple weeks as of this recording, and basically playing through the story missions alone, I have completed the entire game. I'll talk about that later. So for 4,400 yen, this was surprisingly much cheaper than I expected. So the last game I bought, Romancing Saga 2, cost me almost 7,000 yen. So yeah, this is much cheaper than the last game I bought. So taking a look at the case inside, so actually there's nothing in this part, so they didn't include any, like, I don't know, game codes. So I got this like the day after release. So yeah. So this is where the card, or the game card, would usually go, but it's in here. So I have been playing it on my Switch Lite. So there you go. So as for the back cover, so here are some mobile suits featured in the game, of course. So for the suits that are included and playable in this game, so they come from the following entries. So of course you have Gundam Seed, Gundam Seed Destiny. You also have Stargazer, Astray, X Astray, Versus Astray, MSV, and Destiny MSV. So those are the entries in the Gundam Seed franchise that are, included in this game. So especially the suits that appear in these series. Now, considering that this is a port of the original PS Vita version, so I really didn't expect them to include, Seed Freedom just yet. So, uh, I'm not sure why Bandai Namco didn't include them in this game, or in this edition, if they were going to port it and re-release the game. But for what it's worth, again, like, I didn't expect so Seed Freedom to be included if this was just simply a port of the original PS Vita version, like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, considering how many suits were included in this game, like even without those from Seed Freedom, like it still had a lot of play value, and I got to play using like suits that I have wanted to play as that weren't available in the PSP game that I had before. So Dango versus Zap. And those would be suits like Destiny Gundam, the Murasame, and even the Strike Noir. So again, it was fun being able to play using those suits. So gameplay wise, I would say it played more or less the same way as the PSP game that I had before. So you are basically, just to show you a little bit. So this is the main menu. You probably can see, and you have basically some missions here. So you basically have these timelines. So you play through different timelines, basically featured here like Seed Destiny, and then like the others, like the MSV ones. So you also get to choose your faction. So, for example, these missions are the Earth Alliance, and then the Zaft missions, and then these are Orb missions. So the Orb missions are unlocked after playing a specific uh, point. So, for example, if you're playing as the Federation, so upon playing this mission, so the Descending Sword, so you choose whether you stay with the Federation or defect and join the Archangel, aka Orb. And then, if you continue, let's say, for example, playing through the Federation missions, then you get to unlock the missions that follow after that. Or if you choose to defect to the Archangel and join Orb, then you start unlocking uh, the Orb missions that come here. So until the final mission. Same thing with the Zaft mission. So again, you play through the Zaft missions, but by Operation Spit Break, so it is basically the same stage as the Descending Sword, but this is for the Zaft faction. So again, at this point in the game, uh, you either choose to stay with a Zaft or join Orb, aka the Archangel faction, and then unlock the missions from there. But you can finish the Orb missions first and then go back to the, let's say, other factions that you've chosen earlier. So, yeah. So let's say, for example, you choose a stage. So you get to use a mobile suit. So yeah, as you can see here, I have unlocked the Strike Freedom Gundam. So you can see here, there are pilots as well. So these are your pilots or original character pilots. So you can choose from either a male or female pilot, and each uh, like character avatar does come with some specific skills, but you can unlock other skills and equip them onto your character as you go along. So you also have like kind of a level up system of sorts. So for your mobile suits specifically, uh, although your characters do also get some experience points, and they also level up after each, not necessarily after each mission, but yes, your characters also level up, but you also get to play as other characters like Kira Yamato, once you unlock them after some specific missions. And that's also the same for the other mobile suits. So let's say, for example, you play as a strike dagger within the Federation missions. So that's your starting unit. But after you play through some stages, and if you get, especially if you get like an S or SS rank, which is basically the highest rank you can get in a mission by scoring points or whatnot. So you get to unlock more suits. You get to unlock better suits. So I think for most missions, well, not all missions, but like a majority of missions, like simply finishing those missions, you do get a mobile suit. But again, reaching like S rank unlocks a more powerful suit, or uh, as my experience would tell me. So, like for example, like finishing on an A rank, so you get uh, a mobile suit, but you get another mobile suit and a more powerful one by you know getting an S rank or SS rank in some missions, and then you also get what we call tuning points and then global points. So let me pop up that stage once again. So I select a mobile suit. So there you go. So this is the strike freedom. So by pushing a specific button, so I am going to activate the tune option. So there you can see like uh, so this TP. So this would be the tuning points, and this GP is called the global points, and you use these points to increase your mobile suit stats. So what is the difference between the tuning points and the global points? So again, for each mission, so you get both of these points. However, so tuning points are used only by the mobile suit that you fielded for that for specific missions, or basically any mission that you field your mobile suit in. So let's say again the strike freedom. So I use it in a lot of missions. So of course it will accumulate a lot of tuning points. However, these points are exclusively for use with the strike freedom. So the global points, however, can be used for any mobile suit. So this can also be used, for example, you don't have enough tuning points to upgrade your mobile suits, but you have a lot of global points, then you can use those global points as well, no problem. So what I highly recommend that you do is that when you unlock a Gundam for a first time, or any mobile suit rather, uh, you can use your global points to upgrade your newly unlocked mobile suit before you even like send them out to battle for the first time. But again, you can also just field your mobile suit of choice without any upgrades. That's also fine, and just accumulate tuning points as you go on, and then use those to upgrade your mobile suit. So it's really up to you. So for any given mission, you are given the opportunity to use two two units. So let's say in this case, again, I have strike freedom, and then I have for my partner unit a Murasame, and let's deploy for one. So like let's say this is the first mission of the game. So it does take quite a while to load, but like I've mentioned earlier, gameplay wise, it plays very much the same as the Dango vs. Zaft series. But for a lot of Gundam games, like I've played like a Universal Century game before. So you can see here. So again, I can just ignore the battlefield. I can dominate those ones. But yeah, so this is basically the first mission, right? So you move your character or your mobile suit across the field. You have weapons. So I'm firing off a dragoon. I'm firing a beam rifle. I'm using a melee attack, and then I can also jump and fly. So basically, yeah, so these things are kind of the same with, the PlayStation Portable game that I had before. There is, for personally, I do have a little bit of an issue in terms of like the enemy lock on system. So if you kind of turn around too much, like you might like lose focus on your enemy. However, that wasn't really a problem with the PSP game that I had. I would say in terms of the automatic lock on, so it will lock on to the nearest enemy, and the lock is really really solid no matter where your enemy moves, like especially when they move overhead or when you are in zero gravity environments, which you go completely 360. So even in those elements or environments rather, so the lock-on system for Rengo versus Zap was much better than this one, because you do have to lock on manually. So in this case, so I press the R button to do so, and again, the lock on isn't automatic, and when you do lock onto enemies, they don't lock onto the nearest possible target sometimes, which can be difficult and quite dangerous in battle if you're about to be attacked by the nearest enemy and you're suddenly locked onto another enemy that's a bit farther. So again, not really that smooth. But another issue that apparently this game has, so this is completely single player. So as you can see on the back, it just says one player. You connect it to your TV, one player. You play it on the regular Switch, like a kickstand screen, one player. And of course, because I have a Switch Lite, so definitely one player. But again, if you're playing on the bigger Switch, or at this point, Switch 2 is already out, by the way, yeah, it's a single player experience. So that kind of, I don't know, kind of decreases play value personally a little bit. Um, I'm not sure if like Switch Lite is capable of connecting like ad hoc, but again, like Wi-Fi play or something like that, like a remote PvP could still be possible, because for some missions, like some game modes rather, so you do have free missions here. Like you have a versus mode, right? And then it says here like you take on the CPU, only the CPU. So you can set up to like 4 characters. So let's say go for a free battle here. Okay. So finalize my settings, right? So there you go. So you can choose up to 4 characters, and definitely the first one is your player character. But look at this part. it's all CPU. So kind of a shame because like the PSP version, you can technically play it with ad hoc connectivity, but yeah, such a shame that this isn't capable of that. Although again, like for single player enjoyment, sure, why not? So at this point, I would like to talk about the other things or features in this game. So as you can see here, there are harrow shaped medals here. So 9 of them in total. So these are called restrictions. So basically, these are things that you can unlock after uh, playing specific or fulfilling specific conditions. So let's look at the first part. So it says remove original pilot restrictions. So earlier when I talked about player characters, so you do have the option to choose between Zaft and the Earth Federation. Now, if you're playing as the Earth Federation, you can choose for your pilot to either be a natural or a coordinator. So they do have differences in stats, but basically, uh, considering the lore of Gundam Seed Destiny, so naturals are like natural born people, but coordinators start off like the genetically enhanced humans. For Zaft, however, like natural, like naturals are not available, so you only get to play as coordinator for Zaft. Again, given the story's lore. So by again clearing the game, so you get to choose any genetic type again. So it says natural types can also be used by the Zaft faction, and then the next one. So original pilot growth limits removed. So basically, your character or your original character can be increased up to 99 points. So another one is remove guest pilot growth limits. So the same thing, but for other characters. Again, like Kira Yamato, for example. So remove period restrictions. Mobile suit period restrictions are, let's say, for example, you cannot play uh, Gundam Seed Destiny units for missions that are, you know, set in the previous Gundam Seed timeline, and vice versa. So another one, again, so faction limits. So you can choose characters regardless of their factions. So I can use a Zaft character for a Federation mission and vice versa. So this one is remove mobile suit unit restriction or use restrictions. So suit capabilities will no longer decrease when piloted by natural type pilots. So let's say, for example, like the Aegis Gundam. So it was piloted by Actor Zala, who is a coordinator. But if you have a natural pilot, it becomes much more difficult. It becomes weaker, or it's impossible to pilot at all. But yeah. So yeah, yeah. These are some of limitations, but like one limitation that I really like removed. So this is the tuning restriction. So this is the last one right here. So before unlocking this one, so uh, I think you unlock this by at least getting an S rank on every mission, if I'm correct. So you can use all of the points that you have and increase your chosen mobile suit stats to the max. Okay, but before unlocking that, so there are some limits. There are some like walls and ceilings to or limits as to how many points you can use to upgrade each specific part. So let's go back to the tuning system a little bit. So, so again, using the strike freedom as an example, so you have like the general performance of the unit, so like increasing HP, defenses, like thrusters, mobility, and such. And then looking at the next part, so you can upgrade each weapon that you choose. So let's say the primary weapon, so the beam rifle, you can upgrade all of its stats, like damage output, ammo capacity, like firing speed and accuracy, and all of the other weapons. And as you might notice here, so I have reached the maximum capacity, like 140,000 points. Uh, so yeah, so for example, this costs 140,000 tuning points to upgrade, and I have increased it to its you know maximum capacity. So by doing so, you get it makes your mobile suit, of course, more powerful, and you can clear missions better with them. So yeah, as for the story, so you don't get a lot of cut scenes. Uh, you do get some during missions, but you get like a brief introduction, like a narration only. But I don't mind that. However, for someone who has never watched the Gundam Seed franchise, or maybe read the associated or related manga, so maybe they might not get much of the story. Again, I have watched the entirety of Gundam Seed, from the first anime, Gundam Seed Destiny, Stargazer, MSV. I've seen those. I haven't read the manga, but yeah, I get most of the story here. I was just really excited to be able to play using units that, again, I have never played before, considering my older game. But overall, even though this game has a lot of limitations, again, like for example, the lack of multiplayer options, um, yes, like extra content, I want to be able to like listen to a lot of the BGMs, and if possible, like they could have included some animated cutscenes. Not necess And this one is not necessary, but again, because they released this game in 2025, uh I would have liked to have, you know I guess, some units from Seed Freedom, again, to be added in this game would be nice. I guess that would make this a bit more expensive if you do that, but again, for the 4,400 yen price tag, not so bad, in my opinion. So overall, I'm gonna give Gundam Seed Battle Destiny a 4 out of 5. Again, I do enjoy my solo player uh, gig. I'm still trying to do some of the extra missions in the free mode. Not free mode, but yeah, so like EX missions. But again, story mode, I have completed it 100%, and I think I've unlocked all mobile suits. So I do have like 116 units overall. Um, I guess looking at like this roster right here on the case, probably you can't see, but I think I have unlocked everything. So yeah, do I recommend this game? Uh, I would, especially if you are actually a fan of Gundam Seed, the entire Gundam Seed franchise. So if you are, if you have played any other Gundam game before, then you might, you might want to try this one if you have the opportunity to do so. So yeah, that's my review for Gundam Seed Battle Destiny. So what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.